Hello and welcome, Exiles, to a look at Cast on Crit Archmage Hierophant using the new Golden Charlatan sword. Now, you may be wondering, how on earth are you getting the mana sustain for Cast on Crit with Archmage? Well, it comes down to a new item, Khaleesi's Grace, and I have to thank Noogie for this one. He's the one that showcased this item, and I didn't even realize this was one of the new Foulborn items they added in the most recent patch, but it gives 50% mana cost reduction. If you have been following the changes to Archmage, you will know it became a support gem that no longer cares about the amount of mana cost you actually have. It just gives you a mana damage number based on your unreserved mana. So the short answer is you simply need to get your cost down to 0, and then if you're casting a skill 10 times a second, even if it has this massive mana cost, you can still sustain it. So to do that, Khaleesi's Grace gives 50%. Then we combine that with the Mastery from the Mana Mastery, 10% cost reduction there. That takes you to 60. Dreamer Wheel gives you another 15, takes you to 75. We combine that with a Militant Faith, which gives Devotion, reduced mana cost per devotion. We have about 180 devotion. So I think this is like 18% mana cost reduction here. That takes us to, I think, 95 or 85. I forgot where we were with the number. Or sorry, that takes us to about 91, 92. Something like that, or 93. I freaking lost count. Anyways, and then we combine that with Righteous Decree for another 9%. So we get all the way to 100% cost reduction, which simply means every 2 seconds, our mana cost reduction from this will wear off. We'll instantly spend that 800 mana and we'll go back to 0 cost. That is how we were solving the mana cost on this character, and that is how we can run Cast on Crit with it. So Khaleesi's does enable Cast on Crit Archmage. The thing is, my setup for Cast on Crit Archmage, I gotta be honest, for 30k mana, I would have expected it to do a bit better. We are at 10 attacks per second. Our crit chance is fairly good, and it just isn't that crazy of damage. All in all, I have to say, I'm missing probably a bit too much percent damage scaling. My accuracy is a bit whack. We're only about 3k accuracy. Really, you want to be closer to 4k accuracy for most endgame mob types. And then on top of that, we don't have a lot of crit multi-scaling. So all in all, I put a lot of investments in this character, and the damage was just kind of mid. It wasn't great, which isn't a good feeling if you invest this much. Like, you know, we are pretty high investment, a Mage Blood, a 3-stat helical, close to mirror tier body armor that I just haven't finished the prefixes on, mirror tier boots, and it was just lackluster. All in all, the character was really fun to play because Golden Charlatan, picking up shrines as you're running through a map, it feels really good. It does satisfy in terms of spin to win, but it does not satisfy in terms of damage. And quite frankly, it's a bit lackluster defense for 30k ES in this investment level. I should have pushed for like melding 90 res, but I was kind of getting a little lazy about it because this level of ES lets you pretty much ignore everything, but once you get to the harder, rippier map mods, you start to notice this isn't enough. You need to add a little bit more defensive layers on top of that. Ubers, you probably want that 90 res. Stuff like that. You can't just bypass everything with just the ES number, especially considering this level of investment. I probably should have been able to top off those defensive layers, and it was feeling a bit rough to do so because I was still just stretching so far just to try to see if we could get some moderate DPS from this setup. So yeah, that's the idea there. I was testing the skill setup with Bladefall of Charthus with Cast on Crit Blade Blast. I thought, you know, 30k mana, you get a bunch of Bladefall frequency with 30k mana, you get roughly, what is that, 600% increased frequency, something like that. It shoots down a lot of projectiles on the ground to then blow up. I thought maybe this could work out decently. All in all, from my testing, this was pretty similar damage to if I had just done Ball Lightning of Orbiting. So that's not usually a great feeling if you could just do a normal standard 6-link and then not give up 6 sockets for Bladefall of Charthus. But Bladefall of Charthus did give me a cool Christmas tree effect because I had the red MTX for the Bladefall of Charthus and I had the green normal effect of Bladefall or Blade Blast. So that was kind of fun a little bit, I guess. Another thing I want to note is I did test out whether or not this skill itself could kill just standard issue enemies. I'm going to showcase this real quick here. We're going to not use our Cast on Crit at all during this map, just to give you an idea of what damage Bladefall of Charthus does on its own right. I thought maybe Bladefall of Charthus could deal a significant amount of damage given we were at such a high mana number. And you can see, without Arcane Cloak, it doesn't really even kill normal mobs that much. If I put on Arcane Cloak, it does start to deal a more significant amount of damage because you give a lot of base damage to the skill. Obviously, as an Archmage character, we don't have like a bunch of gem level scaling, so it's not a full fair comparison to Bladefall of Charthus. But I just wanted to take note of the fact that although it shoots a bunch, it doesn't really kill things until you give it a bunch of damage from Arcane Cloak. Just like, I don't know, as a little aside from, in case anyone was interested, like, oh, if I had a bunch of mana, would Bladefall of Charthus deal significant damage? And it doesn't deal too much. As you can see right now, we picked up a Gloom Shrine, which is now kind of carrying the clear. Part of the fun of the sword is getting speed shrines, Gloom Shrines, etc. And there is that stuff, that element that's nice to it. And, you know, obviously you have the spin to win if you're combining it, and the damage will start making more sense for that. But you get the idea. Now I'm going to showcase the single target of Bladefall of Charthus if we click Arcane Cloak with it. So we'll wait for Minotaur to pop up. And so that is the damage it's doing, which that's not half bad. My issue with it is the investment level. Okay, just so we're clear. Like, killing a Minotaur that fast is nice that the Bladefall of Charthus can do that much, but that is dependent on Arcane Cloak being up. And I would hope we could get more with this level of investment. If you make, I'm being kind of critical to the character because of the investment level not really matching what I think it should be able to do performance at this level of investment, if that makes sense. Had fun playing the character, but I want to stress for the investment level, I do not think it was very good. If hopefully that tracks. Basically, I'm saying I don't want to overpromise. If you think this character looks fun to play, maybe you would just have fun with it, but don't expect the damage to be insane, especially at the investment level. Anyways, that is the character. Tested out Bladefall of Charthus, tried it out with Blade Blast. It works okay. Ball Lightning of Orbiting, I think, could have just been similar, and we could have gotten, you know, 6 links worth of sockets back. That's the TLDR on the character, on the setup of what we've done here. Another thing that's fun about this character that I enjoyed is I also like trying out Foulborn Inspired Learning in these 2 slots here, because there's no notables within the range, which means you just get kind of a weak pseudo headhunter, and that can feel kind of decent to not have to commit to that belt slot while still getting the consistency of Mage Blood. But yeah, anyways, that is the Archmage Castle Crit character. Had a lot of fun with it. Great for mapping. The sword is a lot of fun for mapping, but my overall setup, I think for a min-maxing scaling, it wasn't there. Yeah. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video of the Archmage Castle Crit Golden Charlatan Hyro. As always, thanks for watching, Exiles. Take care and peace out. Have a good one.